So, what's a YouTuber for kids supposed to do when his audience starts getting older? Does he make sure his videos grow up right along with them? Or does he just keep making the same stuff for the next 11 years until his original fans can't stand to watch him anymore? Well, Morgs went with door number two, and instead of actually working on making his content any better, he became legendary for just being loud and obnoxious. Is greater than is greater than. That's just nuts. Is greater than. But you've only got 10 minutes. 10 minutes, I got to get going. Is greater than, and, faking his videos. Is greater than Logan, my man. We all know you've pulled off a ton of fake videos, but which one is the phony? Is greater than. Dude, how am I supposed to pick just one? There are just so many. Is greater than, oh, and ripping off ideas from other creators. And now, after all these years of desperately trying to stay relevant on YouTube, he's finally made a move that everyone saw coming. Hey, I'm the internet anarchist. I drop new YouTube documentaries every week, and today we're jumping headfirst into the self-made disaster that is Morgs, how he completely failed to keep up with his audience, became a total joke on the internet for his shenanigans, and how, against all odds, his latest move might just be the smartest thing he's ever done, even if it comes at the total expense of his channel. That being said, if you want to do what's best for this Times channel, all you got to do is subscribe. So go ahead and smash that big subscribe button, and let's get into the video. Morgs, real name Morgan Hudson, first started uploading videos to his channel way back in 2014. And just like pretty much every other YouTuber from that era, his first few videos were Let's Plays of games like Minecraft and FIFA. Now, you got to remember, Morgs himself was only 13 years old back then. Is greater than, hey guys, Morgan here, and today we've got a Q&A because we just hit 1,000 subscribers. Is greater than. So naturally, he was basically a magnet for one specific kind of viewer, young kids who were super into gaming. A theory that got a little backup when Morgs dropped a video called Reacting to Hate Comments, where he proceeded to call out what looked like a 6-year-old for leaving a mean comment. Is greater than, I swear. Every single YouTuber gets one of these comments from someone who looks about 6 calling you a kid. Is greater than. Now, to his credit, Morg saw who was watching and cashed in on it almost instantly, switching over to posting mostly FIFA pack opening videos on his channel, hoping the addictive thrill and adrenaline rush of watching countless pack openings would keep his young fans glued to the screen for the long haul. And what do you know? It worked, with every new video getting more views than the last, helping him grow his channel at a solid clip and hit the 100,000 subscriber milestone by May of 2016, only about 2 years after he got started. Is greater than, yo guys, it's Morgs. And today we have my 100,000 subscriber. At this point, he was pumping out uploads consistently and also started to branch out with his content to build more of a personal vibe with his audience. The FIFA videos were still his bread and butter, but he began tossing in a few quick vlogs and dare videos just to prove he wasn't a one-trick pony. But even with all that, it was starting to look like Morg's sub count was about to hit a wall, since the whole FIFA pack craze was beginning to fizzle out. Luckily, for him, he hopped on a brand new viral trend just before that could happen: Pokemon Go, the game that had absolutely everyone in a chokehold back in 2016. It became a staple on his channel, pushing him past 200,000 subscribers in no time, after hitting a wild 500,000 subscribers. This was also when Morgs unleashed his mom, the now infamous Jill Hudson, onto his channel for what seemed like a totally normal mother-son Q&A, which is hilarious when you think about the absolute chaos they'd get into just a few years later. But for the moment, this honesty with his viewers, plus the fact he was constantly dropping Pokemon Go videos, which was the biggest thing ever back then, helped him smash the 1 million subscriber milestone before the year was out. A move that totally blew him up at first, but also ended up being a major reason for his eventual flameout. See, when Morg started cranking out this new type of content, he was just jumping on a trend but still keeping it real with his audience, which meant his channel could keep his OG fans happy, while also pulling in a whole new crowd that was into this new style of video. His first challenge vids, like the Orbeez Ice Bath Challenge gone wrong, seemed pretty innocent, especially compared to what the top-tier pranksters like the Nelk Boys were pulling off. But even though he was still finding some decent success, Morg spotted a little something that could rocket his views into the stratosphere. Is greater than. Is greater than, the more it seemed like, the louder, more energetic, intense, and crazy I got in the videos, that's what seemed to get the best results. And obviously, my main goal, and I think this is true for most YouTubers, but like my main goal was always just to like make my channel as huge as it could possibly be, is greater than, is greater than. So this whole idea that a super energetic and loud personality could rack up more views totally spiraled out of control in Morgs' videos, leading him to create a brand new, totally over the top, and sometimes downright obnoxious, on-screen character for his challenge vids. Is greater than, is greater than. On this channel, we just do stuff. We don't worry about the consequences, we just do it. And he got progressively louder with every single video. Is greater than he, guys. And welcome back to one of the absolute craziest videos I am probably ever gonna make. Is greater than, even the videos themselves, which were usually just shot at his house, started spilling out into public, like that one where he played The Floor is Lava in an IKEA. Is greater than, is greater than. You think this mirror is big enough? Is greater than, is greater than. The floor is lava. Is greater than, is greater than. Oh no! 3, 2, 1. This whole rebranding thing bled over into his thumbnails and titles, which eventually became pure, shameless clickbait. And, to top it all off, this new strategy didn't just change him, it also warped the seemingly normal personality of his mom too. The woman who came off as super caring and likable at first transformed into this wild, ultra-competitive character who just had to win, no matter what it took. Is greater than, is greater than. Seriously, guys, what would you do without me? I'm definitely the funniest one in this house. Is greater than, is greater than. But for Morgs, all these changes were totally worth it if it meant he could grow his channel a goal he'd become so obsessed with that he actually dropped out of school. This happened right after his teachers told him to quit making videos so he could get his attendance back up. Is greater than. Is greater than. I didn't really talk about it much. Because, I wasn't sure if you guys would be that interested. But honestly, guys, juggling school and YouTube at the level I was at, uploading 2 or 3 times a week, is greater than, is greater than. In Morgs' mind, school was the one thing holding him back from reaching his full potential, and he even claimed he wanted to be nothing but a YouTuber for the rest of his life. And that was a huge factor in my decision. I mean, obviously this YouTube thing, if I let it slide and get distracted by other stuff like school, it's not gonna help. For me, uploading videos while also handling school was so dang hard. For me, making a video takes, I'd say at least 10 hours for a single video. So, piling that on top of schoolwork, homework, and all the stress that comes with school, it's so freaking hard. Is greater than, is greater than. But as Morgs would soon find out, the decision to drop out of school and lean into his obnoxious persona were both mistakes that eventually came back to bite him. This downfall started in 2017, once Morgs had completed his transformation. His new, hyperactive and loud persona was now the main strategy for his channel, and his challenge videos were getting increasingly more over the top and cartoonish over time too. Is greater than, is greater than. This is a 3D pen, and whatever you draw with it, I'll buy for you. Is greater than, is greater than. Seriously? That's insane. Is greater than, is greater than. But you've only got 10 minutes. Is greater than 10 minutes? I gotta get started. However, while Morgs was definitely successful at racking up views with this new style, he was also backing himself into a corner, because his content ideas, combined with his over-the-top persona, just weren't entertaining for anyone over the age of 10, and the internet definitely let him know about it. He started getting hate across Twitter, Reddit, in his own YouTube comments, and pretty much anywhere his name was mentioned. This backlash got even more intense after an incident where Morgs let his mom fall off a treadmill just to farm views. Is greater than, is greater than. No, is greater than knowing full well that it could have easily caused a life-altering injury. The general sentiment people had about him can be summed up by this one comment. Morgs is a dumb English kid who knows nothing but yelling. I mean, imagine a kid who lets his mom fall off a treadmill for money, and his number one problem is clickbaiting people. I'm pretty sure the neighbors next to Morgs's house must have soundproofing. In the end, he sucks. Eventually, Morgs and his content also landed squarely in the crosshairs of commentary YouTubers, starting with one named Muggy, who dropped a 15-minute video criticizing Morgs's decision to quit the school to do YouTube full-time, calling him out directly for thinking he could be a YouTuber for his entire life. Is greater than, I can comfortably say that I want to spend the rest of my life doing YouTube. Is greater than. That's not going to happen. Sorry. It's just, YouTube's not going to be around for like 60 more years. This video ended up getting over 1.2 million views, which was pretty incredible for a commentary YouTuber back then. As a result, this kickstarted a trend where nearly every major commentary YouTuber started sharing their own take on Morgs, including creators like DJ Cook and Cody Ko. Is greater than. Is greater than. Someone tell me what the deal is with this Morgs guy. I haven't watched any of his videos. I just know that he's annoying. I think people have tweeted me his videos before being like, he's so annoying, you've got to do something about this. And even PewDiePie. Is greater than, if you got paused. Is greater than. No, Morgs, no. No. 2. Hold up. Is greater than. Oh yeah. Let's run that back. Oh yeah. Again. And again. Yikes. Oh my gosh. This is so cringe. I can't even imagine filming this with my own mom. Is greater than. Speaking of moms, her video on Morgs blew up, racking up 16 million views, all of them calling Morgs out for being a total phony, from his pranks to the whole personality he was putting on. However, while it seemed like getting dragged by the entire internet would be a nightmare, Morgs himself claimed he was all for it and actually got a kick out of watching people roast him. Is greater than. To be honest, this is probably going to sound pretty crazy, but like, I love them really. Like, I really, really like, there isn't really anything I enjoy watching more now than people like ripping into me. Is greater than, which shocker might have something to do with the fact that all that hate just funneled more eyeballs to his videos. As is usually the case when any YouTuber gets called and out by someone with more clout, all the extra publicity just boosted Morgs's view count even more. It also resulted in the creation of the Morgs Mom YouTube channel, where his mom, Jill Hudson, would crank out enough content for a whole other set of memes for the internet, and millions more views for her. However, while Morgs seemingly enjoyed soaking up most of the hate against him, there was one piece of criticism that really started to get under his skin, which was when he started getting called out online for straight up stealing MrBeast's thumbnails, titles, and even his entire video ideas. In an effort to defend himself, Morgs jumped on Twitter to claim that MrBeast's own ideas weren't original and that he'd been copying past videos from other creators as well, which prompted a video response from MrBeast where he clearly broke down the difference between his and Morgs' approach to making content. You know when you get inspired because it's clearly you're getting inspired by me, just switch it up a little bit more like, yeah, obviously I got inspired by other people. I wasn't the first to donate to Twitch streamers. Everyone gets inspiration. Just you put your own little twist on it, you know? But if you get inspired by me, just switch it up a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, I don't hate you. It's whatever. Is greater than. This ultimately ended with Morgs kind of admitting that he was copying MrBeast's titles and thumbnails, but still claiming that the videos themselves were different, stating 100% get where you're coming from though. The titles and thumbnails are pretty similar, but if you watch the actual vids, our styles are completely different. This explanation was apparently enough for MrBeast to leave Morgs alone for the time being, with him stating, "Hey, a sensible response. I deleted the original tweet because I know a lot of YouTubers are making vids on you right now, and I can't imagine it feels good, so I'll leave you alone. Have a good day." However, Morgs never stopped copying MrBeast's style, even after getting called out, which prompted Jimmy to take another shot at him 6 months after their original exchange by dropping a post on Twitter that read, "My brother isn't an actual YouTuber until Morgs copies one of his videos." This sent Morgs into another spiral, with him firing up another argument thread to point out specific instances when MrBeast had supposedly copied his videos. However, just like last time, but MrBeast totally dismantled his argument in a single reply, just by explaining how he comes up with his video ideas. This prompted Morgs to fire back with, "How come my top video is a copy of your Last to Leave series, but your VR video is just inspired? And just because you say you're joking and you hate drama doesn't change a thing? It's just a way for you to spin the story and still look like the good guy, even though you're the one who tweeted about me." The beef then dragged on for several more days, with Morgs eventually blacklisting the word MrBeast from all of his videos and comment sections, which to everyone else basically meant he was admitting MrBeast was right, without actually having to say the words. However, while Morgs was getting publicly dragged on Twitter, behind the scenes, this beef was actually working in his favor, helping his channel eventually cross the 10 million subscriber milestone. But this also turned into a curse for Morgs, as it completely killed his motivation to continue. The loud, obnoxious, cringy persona. The same kid who at age 15 wanted nothing more than to make YouTube videos, for the rest of his life had become complacent and totally burned out from creating content. He had developed a jaded personality, where he acted like he'd already achieved everything and even mentioned he could retire at any point he wanted. I'm at a point now where, I don't have to do anything. I could theoretically, I guess, retire and stop, is greater than. This eventually turned into him having second thoughts about being this overly energetic slop tuber for kids, especially since, in his own words, faking that high-energy persona for every video had become incredibly draining. Is greater than videos anybody could watch and laugh at. It drains you over time because, it ends up with your videos just not being very personal. Morgs had also started expressing a desire to be more real with his audience, to make them understand and connect with his true personality. And, with the character he was playing, that just wasn't possible. So, soon after hitting that milestone, Morgs made a decision to ditch his old act and let his real personality shine through. This new rebrand started with a video he uploaded on April 10th, 2021, titled The Real Morgs, where he finally showed his audience the man behind the camera, hinted at the introduction of a more honest Morgs in future videos. Is greater than. I really hope you guys have enjoyed seeing a different side to me that you've never really seen before. But going forward, you will see more of that side because I'm going to be myself way more on camera. Is greater than. And true to his word, his whole demeanor changed completely after that video. His audience was now seeing a more laid-back, chill individual who was significantly less annoying. As part of this change, Morgs even admitted that he faked a lot of his videos. Is greater than Morgan. We all know you've done a lot of fake videos. But which one is the fakest? Is greater than. You know what? How can I even pick one? There's so many. Is greater than. And he also admitted that MrBeast had every right to call him out. Is greater than. So, Morgan, there's one more thing I think we need to settle before we move on. And that is the MrBeast beef. You know what? I'll own up to it and say yes. I have taken ideas before. I'm pretty sure you guys already knew that. Know that. Is greater than. By this point, the change was painfully obvious. Morgs had ditched his over-the-top, fake character that really only appealed to kids, aiming for a more genuine connection with his audience. But even though it was a solid move for him as a person, you couldn't say the same for his channel. This became crystal clear after he dropped a video called I'm Leaving YouTube, where he laid out, yet again, how he was shedding his kid-friendly persona to focus on being real. In this brand new chapter of content, I'm going to come back, and I'm only going to post when I'm genuinely enjoying it and actually want to, and I'm only going to post stuff that I'm truly proud of. I'm not going to force myself to rush back, and I'm not going to force anything, because I've been stuck doing that for so long now, guys. I've been forcing this persona. I've been grinding out these challenge videos. And while that video managed to pull in 5.1 million views, his overall viewership took a nosedive right after. Once he ditched the obnoxious personality everyone loved to hate, his channel stopped getting shoutouts from commentary YouTubers, which tanked his reach. But there was an even bigger reason for his downfall, and it all came down to the audience he'd spent years building. He had spent ages making content for the 10 and under crowd on YouTube, so his original fans who liked him for his personality eventually grew out of his content. He had a chance to evolve his videos along with the growing age of his audience, but he just never did. And by then, it was way too late. So when it was time to rebrand himself, the only ones still watching were kids under 10 who got absolutely nothing out of this new direction. This led to most of his remaining viewers bailing too. And since Morgs wasn't getting the kind of attention he was hoping for on his new videos, he started posting less and less, which just sent his channel spiraling even faster. Now, he could have salvaged his channel by going back to his over-the-top, fake persona. But good for him, Morgs stuck to his guns, choosing to be his true self, even if it meant he had to sacrifice his channel. And as it turned out, that's precisely what happened. It looks like he decided to wrap up his YouTube career by the end of 2025. He broke the news in a video he posted at the start of the year called My Final Year on YouTube, where he revealed he'd be quitting YouTube for good, mainly because he wasn't willing to sacrifice the pride he'd found in his own personality. Of course, this led to an even steeper drop in views on his later videos, and Morgs' response was to post even less, basically letting his viewership fade away. Although, let's be real, that's probably not a huge worry for him at this point. He's almost certainly made enough cash from YouTube ad revenue over his 11-year career to be set for life. Bouncing was ultimately the right call for him, and it's something his remaining fans seem to agree with. In that final year announcement video, Morgs also mentioned he was starting a new passion project, flipping rundown houses for a profit. One of the biggest things in my life over the last 3 years has been this brand new passion project I got going. I pretty much run a crew of more than 20 people. My job is to scout out old, busted properties like this one, total train wrecks. You know, complete dumps, and then, with a little bit of my magic, they flip them into swanky apartments to rent out or sell. So, it really seems like he's already pieced out of the YouTube game, and this last batch of videos is probably a final nod to the fans who stuck with him through thick and thin. That being said, we'll have to wait till the year's over to see if Morgs actually sticks to his guns or if he ends up clinging to YouTube for dear life when he knows it's a dead end. Especially since creators hanging onto the internet when their time is up is nothing new, like Bobby Elto, who basically torched her entire life for some online clout. Want to hear that whole crazy story? Click the video right here on the screen.